The economic boom of the last 2 decades built modern skylines like this one in Beijing, but that era of endless commercial construction has cooled, leaving behind a saturated air conditioning market. For companies building standard cooling hardware, the market has become a race to the bottom. Western manufacturers cannot match the sheer scale and razor-thin margins of local giants like Midea and Gree. Trane Technologies, a century-old industrial name, now faces 3 distinct threats at once: a stalled real estate sector, aggressive local rivals, and complex international trade tariffs. Trane's management realized that high-volume hardware sales were no longer a viable path. They shifted focus, moving away from viewing China as a consumer market for their products. This pressure forced a total rethink of their assets. Trane began utilizing its Chinese operations as 3 distinct tiers of strategic leverage: a local testbed for new technology, a regional engine for exports, and a defensive network for its global supply chain. Locally, Trane is ignoring the retail market to align with national policy. They are targeting the dual carbon emission mandates and the massive East Data West Compute initiative, which is building out China's AI infrastructure. Artificial intelligence requires massive GPU clusters that generate an immense amount of heat. New server racks are pushing power densities past 50 to 100 kilowatts, a level where traditional air cooling physically cannot prevent the hardware from failing. Using liquid stack technology, Trane moved cooling inside the server. This graphic shows ambient air failing, while direct-to-chip liquid cooling pulls heat off the silicon. This setup is required for Chinese AI hubs to meet the government's strict PUE limit, keeping energy overhead below 1.2. The strategy extends to the aging commercial sector, where thousands of older buildings face new, strict emissions penalties. Rather than a one-time equipment sale, Trane uses connected mechanical service agreements. They monitor building efficiency and manage upgrades, which locks the property into a service contract lasting up to 20 years. By controlling the underlying infrastructure and energy management, Trane has replaced volatile hardware sales with predictable, long-term cash flow. This footprint serves the broader Asia-Pacific region. While the Chinese market evolves, Trane has seen a 50% surge in bookings across the rest of Asia. Trane uses its massive Chinese factories, like Taikang and a new flagship site in Wuzhen, as the primary engineering centers for the entire region. Access to China's specialized supply chain allows rapid export of custom technology, like high-humidity systems for Southeast Asia and smart refrigerated trailers for Japan. Leveraging Chinese manufacturing agility allows Trane to serve a varied regional market without the cost of building redundant factories in every country. Given the geopolitical climate, it might seem simpler for a Western company to exit China entirely to avoid trade wars. However, Chinese suppliers hold an absolute monopoly on critical upstream components, like electronic expansion valves and specialized compressors. No other global network currently has the same volume or precision. Trane manages this risk with a dual-chain strategy. They manufacture complex core modules in China to keep costs low. These modules are shipped to the US or Europe for light asset final assembly. Because software integration happens locally, the products legally bypass terminal tariffs. This strategy creates a global network that benefits from Chinese costs, while neutralizing the financial risk of trade barriers. Earlier this year, Wall Street panicked when a Chinese startup released a highly efficient AI model. Investors feared that better software would mean less need for cooling hardware, leading to a sharp sell-off in Trane stock. That reaction ignores the physics of heat. Even as software improves, the total scale of AI clusters is growing, and the heat generated by each individual rack is continuing to climb. This physical reality makes high-density liquid cooling a requirement. You cannot run next-generation AI without this infrastructure, regardless of how efficient the algorithms become. Trane has redefined its presence in China, using it as a base for regional engineering and a source for global components. They have integrated their technology into the physical requirements of the AI era, turning a difficult market into a strategic advantage.